Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Video Game Therapy, where I pretty much have a philosophy podcast. So I wanted to make a quick note because two people reached out to me about two different VGTs that I've uploaded. Now, first off, I have zero expectations for people to actually watch these, but I just want to mention that if you do know me in real life for whatever reason, or, even if you don't, there's a lot more that I don't say than I do say in these. I do recognize that these videos are public on the internet. So if I don't say something, it's because it's too personal to say. Both of the cases were largely related to the harm that misinformation and lack of information, i.e. omission, can do. And that was entirely inadvertent. So I am sorry for that, for those of you who kind of talked to me about that. I'm glad you called me out on it. It's good. I felt really bad, but I'm glad it got resolved and everything. Yeah, I'll probably stray away from more personal topics just as a result, because omission can be just as bad as lying. But today I wanted to talk about reality. No, don't make a new dino. I finished the game with this one. In theory. Anyway, oh god, it's so loud. Okay, so where the frick is my volume button? New keyboard. Kind of sucks, but it's okay. All right. So reality. A while ago, not last year actually, it's the start of the year when I came back from Paris. I was studying there abroad for a little while. I watched Sword Art Online. It's an anime. And I sort of went into this existential crisis about how, in this VR world, should I explain the premise of essay? Long story short, someone released this game. And it was entirely virtual reality, and everyone got stuck in it. And if you died in virtual reality, you died in real life. Anyway, that's kind of all you need to know. But there was this moment where I was like, if I was in a VR game, I would definitely spend like all my time grinding and stuff. And then I had a moment where I was like, I'm currently watching anime for like the 5th hour that day and playing Animal Crossing. Not only am I playing Animal Crossing, but I was weeding. And I was like, would I really? And so I was genuinely launched into this like existential crisis for a few days, about the question of willpower and what that can do in our lives. Now, again, this VGT is going to be somewhat scattered. It feels slightly forced today. Usually things are on my mind. Today, nothing is this is on my mind. But anyway, I watched over the past week or so. Apparently there was a 3rd season of SAO and I watched it at least up until the ones that are on Netflix, which still like has half remaining. But man, it's intense. Anyway, the premise of this one is that maybe there's some more wrong key. Maybe some more prefacing I should do. This isn't a good one. It's okay. Essentially, they made a virtual reality world. So they made a simulated universe. And it's based on the concept that they duplicated and are making artificial souls to make a bottom-up AI. And to kind of put what bottom-up AI is, right now AI deducts. This is going to be a mass oversimplification, but so if I tell you I probably shouldn't use the current pandemic as an example. I tell you I am taking operating systems, computer graphics, and data science, right? Then you might think, okay, from all of the majors I know, so computer science, linguistics, whatever, I can say that he's got most in common with computer science, and therefore I think he does computer science. Versus induction, which is taking, computer graphics, operating, those are all computer science classes, therefore he might be studying computer science. Not sure if that made sense, but the idea was that they created this artificial world to create a bottom-up AI. But there is so much in this season, I guess, in this arc, I should probably say, I think is the correct term, about how strong willpower is. It acknowledges a little bit more the fact that the world isn't real, and that there are restrictions. It's really cool premise, and it makes me think even more about this existential crisis that I had. And I don't know. I have a video that I want to make about, you know, what SAO can teach us about existentialism, but I need to be able to make more time for it. But yeah, it's, I guess this is kind of a trial run to see what comes to mind if I were to explain it without a script. What it kind of makes me realize is that our reality is simply as we perceive it. Real world consequences can often be totally exaggerated in our minds. And once we actually do things, we might realize, oh, this actually is not bad at all. 100 jump will be helpful. And I guess it's harder to explain than I thought, but the big thing that the big moment was in the TV show. The main character Cowdino is lying on the ground beneath a tree on it's a very nice day. What did I eat to become this strong? Anyway, and another character, Asuna, comes in and she's like, dude, everyone's at like the head of the dungeons. You should be, you know, helping us wipe out whatever. And he goes, oh, the game's on its maximum like weather setting. There's no way I'm spending my time in a dungeon today. And I look outside and I'm like, I'm locked in my room because of the pandemic. It is so nice outside. I am weeding on Animal Crossing. And I ended up, I think I went on a run that day. I want to say I did something big, but all in all, the realization was like, you know, if I guess maybe I'll talk about it from a simulation theory point of view. The idea of simulation theory is that we all live in a simulation. And to that I say, okay, so what? That's kind of, as a result, I'm like, okay, if we live in a simulation, so what are you going to do about it? Because on one hand, whether or not, you know, simulation or quote unquote reality, it's still what you make of it. Your life is still your life. What you do is still what you do. Your experiences, you know, suppose it's a simulation, right? And you wake up, your experiences are still going to be there. The kinds of things you learn will still remain in your head. So you could say, oh, but the simulation is, you know, it's a simulation. So what we do here doesn't matter. Well, and I guess assuming reality is the same as the current reality, at some point our planet's going to blow up and things are not going to matter. We're a small rock in the middle of space. It's not going to matter. Like either way you look at it, right? And so our fate, the only thing that's really locked into our fate is the fact that we live and the fact that we die. So we're born and we die. It's what we do in between that we can decide. We can choose what to do in between. I guess I started talking about this and I said, this train of thought makes more sense. I don't know, man. What I'm trying to say is, imagine, you know, in a sense, maybe treat life like a game. Something that I guess hit me with the whole thing about SAO is like, I was like trying to break out of the mindset of like, oh man, I wish I could be better at art or be better, you know, run at a better pace. But in a video game, it's funny because we'll spend the amount of time it takes to get better and the amount of time it takes to level up, right? So let's say, I guess any really MMO, as far as I'm aware, you have a strength skill. Maybe you start off at level 1, right? Well, what do you need to do to get that strength skill up? You need to, you know, do things that involve the strength skill. I guess Dino Run, the game I'm playing right now, great example. What do you need to do to increase your speed? Well, you need to play more levels. You need to run more. Same principle when running in real life. If you want to run faster, you have to get out and run. And it's such a weird phenomenon, I want to say, that Animal Crossing, right? To bring it back to my earlier point, weeding in Animal Crossing. Well, why not just weed in real life? Because it's more rewarding, you know, yada, yada, yada. It's just a very strange phenomenon. And if you're out there, I'm curious what you think about it. Because, you know, games are made to, I want to say be addictive, but that's kind of not the point I'm trying to make. I'm going so slowly. I think my computer's been lagging all day. This is really unfortunate because I cannot react accordingly. But like imagine you got plugged into a VR game, right? Or imagine you wake up from the simulation. Are you going to do the same thing you do now? Probably. Chances are that's a yes. You know, if I was in a VR game, oh, I'd grind all day. Well, what if you are? What if you made life as if you were in a VR game, or you were just in a game in general? You wanna be able to run faster, okay? Well, in a video game, any video game with leveling, really, you F off. Oh, that was really fortunate. In any game, you gotta level up. You gotta get experience to get to that next level. So in a sense, why not treat life that same way? And I think in a lot of ways, I currently do treat life in that regard. In that, you know, hello. Running is really the only thing. I guess learning anything, to up your wisdom knowledge, you gotta read books in game. Granted, it's not like an actual task you have to do, but unless it is. Anyway, I just think it's a novel concept, and I think it's really changed my outlook on life. And it changed it unconsciously before it has changed it consciously. Like, I genuinely started viewing things as like, okay, well, if I want to run faster, then I need to run poorly first. And it's a general concept. I feel like that's accepted. These levels are different than last time. I do not remember this at all. Oh, sorry, buddy. I didn't actually think I could eat you. Another, you know, we often look at other people and say, oh my God, that person, I guess I'll use an example for me. They're so good at art. Well, suppose someone said to me, you are that good at art. I wouldn't know. Or, you know, suppose I was objectively, right? In a world with objective truth. Oh, could you imagine? Suppose I was. I would never know because I've never sat down to draw a full-on painting. I've always thought I'm inadequate. I've always thought I need to sketch more. And I've had this one drawing assignment on my to-do list for like 3.5 weeks. I just need to get it done. I just need to show myself that I can sketch for 15 minutes even, but I don't. And so when we look at other people and say, oh my God, they're so good, we neglect the way that they got there. And you can view that in a lot of different ways. And so in my current, you know, theory about viewing life as a game, in a sense, is like, you know, choose a role model. It's a really good artist, Gabriel Piccolo. He does comic art. His character design course on Skillshare is where I first found him. It was really cool. It's like, okay, their level, assign them a level 40. What level are you? I'll call myself level 5. Okay, get there, right? You have to grind at your level 5 abilities to get to the next level, whatever that may be. Oh, come on, bruv. Let's go. I am strong. Strong boy. I hope that makes sense. I think it's a perspective. Now, granted, this isn't gonna, you know, make or break things. This was genuinely an epiphany that I felt I had. So it's not like, you know, just saying it's gonna automatically change your life, but it's just a different way to look at things. Because all in all, what I mean to say is, why does it matter that the world's gonna end at some point? Why does it matter that we're gonna die? Nihilism is a philosophical concept that people, I feel like it's because of the memes and stuff that are made about it and the society's perpetuated view of nihilism. I think the idea that people often hear about nihilism is that, well, we live on a rock in space and therefore life is meaningless. When, in fact, and I could be wrong, but from what I've read, nihilism is not, it is, well, okay, people never put in the second clause. Nihilism states the world's going to end at some point, and therefore what we do is meaningless. So it is up to us to make meaning. And the way I kind of accept that now is, given that our whole world is our world, you know, color isn't real, for example. It's still the different wavelengths we see. Our brain puts that together and forms different colors. Those don't actually exist. Those are, you know, in our mind. And I argue that reality is the same way. I could walk up to the street and punch someone in the face if I so chose. I'm obviously not going to do that, at least not without good reason. But it doesn't really matter. You know, every single person who You know, that moment only exists to me and that other person. Maybe they go and tell their significant other, like, dude, this person just punched me in the face today on the street. At what? But otherwise, it doesn't exist. It is what you make of it. And if you feel bad for the rest of the day, then, well, now you know punching people will make you feel bad and make you feel unproductive. And it's like this with everything, I believe. For running, again, that's the only example. I've gotten much better at running. I used to be better than I am now, but I'm better than I was a few months ago. I'm level 15 now. It's like studying for an exam. That's a boss level, and if you don't grind enough, the boss is gonna kill you. I want to make a video at our entire system around this, but I haven't committed the time to. So this is kind of why this video game therapy exists, is to kind of just get these ideas out of my head real quick. Yeah, in treating life as a game, maybe, it's not about, I know, in games you level up and you get experience, but when you turn off that game, no one cares. You hit level 60. Mom, I hit level 60. Oh, cool. Unless your mom's like super into that game or gaming in general, it doesn't mean anything. You still have to do your homework, make the table, whatever it may be. I guess it's kind of a young age example, but games can make us genuinely happy. And, on a small scale, I stopped playing Animal Crossing several months ago and I haven't touched it for a while. I got my fun out of it, and that world has, became a part of my life, and now it's not anymore. Things start and things end, and it's what we do in between that counts, and it's what we do in between that we have control over. The sun explodes. I can't do anything about that. So be it. It's ended. But like, if things don't matter because they're gonna end someday, well, you're alive either way. So you might as well do something about it, like sit in your room at 5:21 p.m. when it's pitch black out, because winter, and you play Dino Run while talking to absolutely no one. That's what it's all about. That is what it is all about. Our existence will cease at some point, but it's too big of a scale. Don't think about that. If I believe this was in Sapiens, but if the world was a clock, if timeline was a clock of the world, the arrival of Homo sapiens would be hour 11, minute 59, 58 seconds. Like, that's how small we've been on this earth. So like, don't think too broadly. What you really want to do is think specifically. Think about those nanoseconds you are on that timeline and make something out of them, right? If you can. Sometimes people genuinely can't, but mindset won't get you everywhere. I concur. But it is a fantastic start. And while, obviously in SAO it's a different story because they were genuinely in a simulated system, willpower's not going to suddenly make you cheat death for a hot minute. But believe, all right, the whole believe you are who you want to be is a whole nother tangent. You don't even have to believe it. Live like it. You want to be a great artist? Draw for 16 hours a day. A fraction of that even. If you want to be a great artist, act like one. Don't believe that you are if you don't want to, but the least you can do is act like one, right? I don't know. That's kind of my tangent. If you made it this far, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Definitely a little uncoordinated tonight. I'll probably continue to just talk about stuff like this from now on instead of personal stuff, because again, I don't want to hurt anyone. Just because, when I talk in these, it's just off the top of my head. I don't. I've probably said countless things wrong. And amid countless details that are probably important for the things I talk about. But again, I never expected anyone to actually watch them. I mean, I guess I hope that they do, but I don't expect it. Maybe I should act as if I expect it. I'm trying to level up, dude, but it's hard. All right. Thanks again for listening. As always, leave a comment down below and have just a fantastic morning, evening, or afternoon, whenever this finds you. Peace.